So by now you've probably seen the articles popping up everywhere talking about how YouTubers and content creators are burning out, they're stressed out. And so in this video, I get to interview Chalene Johnson, New York Times bestselling author and social media expert, and she shares her tips on how we can reduce stress, boost our productivity, and ultimately get more done in our businesses as content creators. Coming up. Hey, what's up? Sean here with Video Influencers. Help you build your influence, income, and impact with online video. And I'm so excited to be sitting with New York Times bestselling author and lifestyle and business expert, Chalene Johnson. How's it going?
Very good. What's up?
Man, I'm pumped to have you back on Video Influencers.
Me too. I'm excited to be here.
And really talking about how can we as content creators and entrepreneurs really double our energy, get more done, and be more effective creating content and really just kind of in our businesses overall. But before we dive into it, for those that are maybe meeting you for the first time,
sure.
What's kind of your story and what you're up to?
Oh gosh, what I'm up to in my story. Well, first of all, my story is I have been an entrepreneur all my life, and so I love helping people solve problems, and finding a way to turn that into a business has been really fun. So my journey has taken me from used cars initially to put myself through college, into fitness and health and wellness, and then probably the last 10 years I've been pretty focused on helping people build a business online, whether that's through social media, leveraging their knowledge, their skills, and building a platform. And now kind of full circle, bringing that back to health. And so today, I mean, what I really like to think of as myself as someone who just wants to help people, because it all makes sense to me, like it all fits together, live a healthier, happier, fuller life. And I personally believe that means being able to take care of yourself financially and being healthy, not just from a financial standpoint, but mental health and physical health as well.
I love that. And just so you know too, Chalene has been a major influence in my life personally, her content, and then we've been able to work together, and we've collaborated on some different projects. And really, you know, on this channel, we're normally talking about tips for getting more followers and getting more views.
Sure.
But you really taught me that the foundation of business development is personal development, but even lower than that is really fitness and health development. And over the last 4 years, I've completely transformed by following your information and, you know, changing some of my habits. And that's why we wanted to do this episode here, because I really know that our community with video influencers could get more done, be happier, more confident if they learn some of the things that you talk about. So you also wrote a new book called The 131 Method. And so I'm kind of excited to learn about some of the things that are in here. So what would you say in light of that? What is sort of what you're talking about so that we can be more effective, more focused? And what's the start of that?
Well, I mean, for those of us who are trying to reach more people, at the basis of that is confidence, right? Like if you don't feel good, if you don't feel high energy, if you're not in the mood to create content, you're not going to create content. You don't feel like helping people. If you're having an internal battle with your own self, it's really tough to get yourself up to do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why we hear people talking about burnout so much, or this overwhelm, like there's so much to do and I can never get caught up, and you start looking at what everyone else is doing and just feeling like I'm not going to be as successful as I'd like to be. And I think what people fail to understand is how important your health is to the health of your business, to the health of your pursuits. And you know, this book is about that journey. And I obviously have written it for anyone, but I think the key, if I were to summarize how important this is, I just don't believe you can have a truly healthy business if you're not healthy. And I'm not talking about like you've got six-pack abs. I'm talking about like mental health, physical health, you know, digestive health, and that all trickles down into your relationships. Like, who cares if you're killing it in business if your relationships are a mess?
Yeah, and I love that you brought up burnout, because especially in the YouTube community here, it has been all over the media, like so many YouTubers, and there's so many different pressures that come in, but it's truly happening to people. They're running, a lot of people watching our community, they've got a side hustle, they're juggling family and kids and responsibilities and trying to keep pumping out content, and it's wearing them down. So Chalene, let's talk about some answers. What are some building blocks that we can apply, maybe some simple tips to boost our energy, get more done, and kind of get into a healthier place?
Well, it's funny you said that, because with stress, I mean, it's a real thing. We can't just, but we all pretend like it's not. We're like, I'm not stressed. Like, I can do more. My eyebrow has been twitching for the last 4 weeks, and You know, my digestion is completely irregular and I'm not sleeping, but I'm not stressed because we just have been conditioned to ignore it. And I also believe that because stress is so normal to us and we just keep throwing on more and more and more, that we don't recognize how that's affecting our mood, like anxiety and depression. These things are not in all cases, but in 98% of them, people can improve their mood, their energy level, and alleviate a lot of those symptoms with food, with the right diet. And when I say the right diet, I don't mean my diet, I mean the right diet for you. Each and every one of us has a unique set of circumstances based on where you live and what your goals are and what your past experience has been in terms of like, what does your diet look like?
Yeah.
You know, and brain health. Like, so for me personally, I was really struggling as an entrepreneur with focus. I couldn't, if there was like a noise in the background, I couldn't remember what it was I was working on. I was getting very irritable and angry, and I would have to like isolate myself to create content. And I just felt like this isn't normal. Like something's going on with my brain. This isn't normal. And I actually had a brain scan thinking that maybe there's something going on in my brain. And in fact, there was. And it was all related and fixable with lifestyle.
That's amazing. So let's get practical. If I want to start boosting my energy with some food, making some different decisions, and this can be tough because it also can kind of get personal. It's how you're raised, you know, their habits, they're just different beliefs. But if we were to put some building blocks in place so we could get measurable improvements in our focus and energy, what's maybe a few to start with?
First of all, we are eating a diet that's way too high in sugar and carbohydrates. We just, from a biological standpoint, from an evolutionary standpoint, we weren't built to have constant access to crackers and breads and fruit and sugar and more carbohydrates. As much as, you know, that stuff can become very addictive, we weren't built to thrive on that. So it's created basically a broken hunger, where our insulin isn't working properly. And so I'm not a fan of like the fad diets, like you gotta go keto or you gotta go paleo, or don't forget you gotta go low carb. There's so many different diets out there. And honestly, if you just think about whole foods, phasing your diet, because think about it, our ancestors did not eat the same thing in the winter as they ate in the summer. But we've all been thinking like, I've gotta find my diet tribe, and then I can say I'm keto for life, or I'm paleo for life, or whatever. And then we want to hold on to it like it's attached to our ego. And then you feel bad because eventually it doesn't work. And it doesn't work because that's not how we work. We were designed to, we've evolved so that our bodies should be phased. Like every part of life happens in phases and cycles and seasons. We accept this when it comes to exercise for a long time. You've heard that, like, you know, cross training or, you know, phasing your workouts. That's how you avoid breaking a plateau. Yeah, because you plateau, you're doing the same thing, so you might alternate. So same thing is true of your diet. Same thing is true of your diet, and I hadn't really thought of that because sometimes you can get stuck in a rut, get stuck in a routine. But practically, and it's kind of well known, but like literally, if we want to have some more energy, less carbohydrates, less especially the white breads, like try to avoid that. And then what should we be focusing on more for, like maybe brain foods or some things that are going to help us? Hopefully, I think the message is starting to get out there. We're getting to this tipping point place where people are starting to recognize now that fat is not the evil. Fat is actually an essential element when it comes to energy. Your brain loves healthy fats. And so when I'm talking about fats, I'm not talking about fried foods. I'm talking about, you know, plant-based healthy fats. Like maybe an avocado. For sure. You know, like Bulletproof has done such a great job of kind of marketing this idea that in the morning, you can, it is a fuel to work with a very high quality grade MCT oil, and also to recognize or to understand the way your body works. And I really try to break this down in the book in a very simplified way so people understand metabolism. Like your brain was designed to function on two different fuel sources, just like a hybrid car. You know, so you can, and it's called the Krebs cycle, where your body was designed to flip a switch and go into use of stored body fat for energy. And in fact, that source of energy, ketones, produced naturally by your body, has been, studied, and in fact it is the basis for the Nobel Prize award-winning science in the last couple of years on helping people to alleviate tumor growth and alleviate autoimmune diseases. So the production of ketones happens naturally in our bodies. The body switches from using carbohydrates or glucose and glycogen, and no, it's getting fancy, but to summarize it and put it in layman's terms, your body has the ability to switch into using body fat, stored body fat, for energy, and it is such a powerful thing for your brain.
Yeah. Man, there's obviously so much into the details of all of this, which of course you cover in the book, and we'll talk about that. Because I wanted to kind of speak to that, because even as we started diving into some of these terms, and I'm like, what is she talking about? You know, glycogen or these different things. If someone's feeling overwhelmed in their health, and I could, immediately, and sometimes it's a personal issue, and that's why you'd write a resource like this, because it's definitely something you want to invest in, and I think to pace yourself. I've been on this journey. I was about 40 pounds heavier.
Okay.
Back when we met.
What?
And
really?
I started to run. Wow. Yeah, I'm down to like 160 right now. I was around 200 pounds.
Svelte.
And I started to change, and so I started to change my diet, and I started to apply a lot of the things that you teach, and it revolutionized my business. I started to have more mental clarity, but then the other piece was activity, and I'm definitely not the gym guy. I mean, clearly, like there's not the guns of not being, I'm not really doing a ton of lifting, but I started to walk more, I started to run more.
Yeah.
If we talk about, again, the physiology side of it and fitness, a lot of the things we tell ourselves is I'm too busy to work out. I'm too busy to even focus on my health. And if I get caught up, then I will start. What do you say to that when people bring up that kind of objection?
Well, first I want to mention the very first thing you said, which was it's been a journey.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand that health isn't an on or off kind of thing. I hear people say all the time, like, I want to start this 1-3-1 method after my vacation, or, I'm thinking about, I've fallen off my diet. Well, that is the wrong way to look at health. Health is a continuum. You're going to make progress forward and then a few steps back and then forward. But it's just like personal development. If you think of it that way, you're not pursuing personal development and then not pursuing it. You're just trying to be a better person. And I really tried to write this book so that people understand it's a lifestyle approach where you're getting a little bit better every single day. The same is true with fitness. Because I just think we've got to get away from the fact that, or the belief that if I'm not killing myself and I can't walk the next day, then I didn't exercise. Your body was designed to move, and that stimulates, without getting into the science behind it, stimulates everything that you need to be super creative, to be confident, to have more energy, to feel better about yourself. To come up with creative ideas requires an energy that has to be delivered to your brain, and study after study after study shows that daily physical activity, and I'm not talking about killing it in CrossFit or running 6 miles, I'm talking about just getting active for 30 minutes a day is what your body was meant to do. Think about it. If you park a car in a carport for 6 months, it just, even though it hasn't been run, it doesn't run properly. It's been designed, you've got to keep the battery charged, and that's what happens when we exercise. So even when I'm super busy, when I was writing this book, when I'm doing a workshop, when I'm doing seminars, I feel like I don't have time for me, so I'm not going to exercise. And I just remind myself, no, I need it now more than ever, because I need to be on my game. I need to be focused. I need to feel good, and it's just getting yourself into the habit of doing that. And the way to do that is by not focusing on the workout, but by focusing how you feel when you're done. You will always feel better. You will always have more confidence. You'll have more energy. You'll sleep better. You have increased sex drive. You have more creativity. You're kinder to other people. You're nicer to other people. Like there's all these benefits that people would be like, if there was a pill that did that, I would try to get it. Yeah. But it's like, you can do that, and your body will reward you. You'll live longer and live fuller.
Well, I love what you're saying, because really health and energy is a competitive advantage. And we have to face the fact that this is a competitive space. Like, your role, your job as a content creator is to be creative, is to show up confident, is to deliver when it's needed, not just when you feel like it, but when something needs to get done. And when we have maybe depression weighing down on us, and discouragement and fatigue, and we've all been there. And I think that sometimes it can be easy to look at a Chalene Johnson or whoever you follow and think that you don't struggle. But one of the things you're doing is you're fighting for your energy, and you're fighting for your creativity. So if we are you're dialing in kind of our health and we're dialing in our fitness, how can we also kind of dial in our productivity? Because this is sort of the foundation of getting more done, but what do you see content creators getting stuck in terms of their productivity? You coach so many people, you've got a great event, Marketing Impact Academy, and all these cool things, and so you see all these different entrepreneurs. Where are they getting stuck in productivity?
Structure. They need structure. Like, structure gives you freedom. And the same is true for, I mean, I know the temptation is I've got to be on a diet or it's like a free-for-all. But honestly, you don't have to be on a diet, but you do need structure. The same way that if you go into business for yourself or you start creating things and you just kind of say, well, I'll dig into it when the mood strikes me or when I feel creative, it just feels like you're never done working. You're doing a little bit all the time, all day long, and you're never able to turn it off. And I found whether it's with diet or with teaching entrepreneurs how to have more freedom, you need more structure. You just do. So for me, that means a schedule. That means I plan out what I'm going to be doing in terms of my diet. And I don't mean what I'm going to be eating every day, but roughly what are my goals in terms of nutrition? What are my goals in terms of exercise? What hours of the day am I doing what? So use pen to paper. Plan what time you're going to wake up. Plan your workout the day before. You know, I fill up 3 water bottles the night before. I fill them up, 3 water bottles that are going to stay cold for 24 hours the night before, so that when I wake up in the morning, I already know, like, I've got to finish all 3 of these water bottles instead of refilling one and wondering all day long how much water have I had. And that structure just makes you feel so much more in control of your life, in control of your food. You're not letting hunger dictate what you're eating, because we've all done that, where you're like, I'm so hungry, I don't care what it is, I'm gonna eat it and it doesn't matter. But if you're thinking about these things in advance, it really does give you so much more freedom. And I have to say this too, because we talked about it a little bit before we started filming, that the last time I did the Marketing Impact Academy, I fasted all the way through that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, how would
so
you...
this is like an awesome hack for entrepreneurs. Now, fasting is not for all populations, I want to say that. And I'm not talking about fasting for weight loss. I'm talking about fasting for brain killer productivity.
Wow. This is a cool hack. I'm excited.
And so you've got to prepare your body in advance. And that's something I teach you how to do inside the book. Because you've got to prepare your body. Then fasting is easy. It's comfortable. You're not hungry because you've got to get your body into ketosis first. But once you flip into that, and the reason why I knew that this would work when I was working on something really intense, like presenting, or if you've got a project that you just got to get done, they started practicing this with the Navy SEALs. And as I was doing the research for this book, I started talking to one of the leading experts who's been working with the special ops inside our government on how they can help these individuals who are in these intense situations where they have to be mentally focused, they have to have all their capacities, and they need to, minimize the amount of time that they're doing other things. And they started experimenting with getting their brains to use ketones and fasting.
Wow.
So you prepare your body in advance, and I'm telling you, you saw me, I had the highest energy I've ever had. I did a fat-supported fast, which means I'm consuming a certain amount of pure fat. So I'm not like literally operating without any calories, but I'm not eating anything other than that. And I slept better. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't emotionally exhausted like I usually am.
Yep.
Usually after I do an event, it's like I don't want to talk to anyone or smile for like a week.
Yeah.
And I felt like $1 million. I went to the dance party. I, presented from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And I never felt better because the body was designed to do that. It's the feast or famine. Our ancestors had to go long periods of time without food.
Yeah.
You can't go without sleep.
Yeah.
But if you prepare your body the right way, it's like you have more human growth production, BDNF, which is a chemical in the brain that just allows all the synapses to connect. Just the ability to focus. When you're in that state, it's like a buzzing. It's trippy.
And that can seem overwhelming, and I'm so inspired hearing you say that because I've aspired to follow your tips and follow things like that because we threw our first live event. It was only a day and a half. We actually extended it for a day, but I've been to Marketing Impact Academy the last few years, and I get to watch Chalene teach all day long.
Yeah.
Dance party breaks all day long. Yep. and delivering value. And it's interesting to say too, having done my own event after, I wanted to just crawl under a rock for 4 days and just emotionally drained. And so we're talking about high performance at a whole nother level.
That's right.
And again, that's maybe not for everybody. because it's all a journey for us. But if you want to be like world class and you want to be able to, because how do you juggle all this? Not only do you need to create content, but we want to encourage you, we're building business-minded content creators here. It's not just about a YouTube channel and views. It's about scaling a business. It's about thinking bigger. It's about living a vibrant life, but also being really effective as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you can't just do that if you're filling your body with junk or not, being strategic and not being intentional. So that's super inspiring, because I've always wondered, how do you deliver value on stage for days at a time? We teach batch producing here, and sometimes it's hard to get one video done, but we've learned, and Benji and I on this channel, you saw our batch video, we'll link it up on the YouTube card and in the description, where we shot 8 videos in one day. And then we went out and shot the photography for those videos. And sometimes people say, how do you do it? Well, Benji too. We try to drink green juice and eat healthy and exercise. Why? It's the foundation that fuels us as entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to challenge you. I'd like to help you prepare yourself to do a fast. You can't just jump. If you try to jump into it, just warning, if you just try to jump into doing a fast, first of all, it's not safe. And secondly, it's miserable, like it's torture. But if you prepare your body the right way, and I'll teach you how to do that. I'll teach you how to do that in the book, but I'll teach you personally. It's insane. You're like, do I have superpowers? Like, it's insane.
Sweet.
You feel so different.
Well, tell us where we can get the book. We're going to do a lightning round on some quick tips for boosting your focus, boosting your energy in just a second. But where's the book out right now, and what's kind of contained in this book?
Yes. Book is found anywhere that books are sold, like Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Of course, you can go to 131book.com. I've got a special bonus there for people who are pre-ordering the book. But if you're watching this after the pre-order, just go to 131book or Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore. You can expect to learn how you need to customize your diet, because everyone's different. I don't know what your objective is. It's not weight loss now. It might be to put on muscle. So what you're going to do is going to be different from what I'm going to do. So you start with first your objective, and then you learn how to phase your diet, or kind of like test how this approach works for you for 3 to 4 weeks. And then you go through a week of what's called fasting and refueling, which some people will fast, some people will just learn the refueling process, where you're like introducing back in some of the foods that maybe you took out and figuring out what works best for you. How does your body respond? How do you reduce inflammation? It's got over 100 delicious, insanely delicious recipes.
And the book's just beautiful. It's just incredible, all that's happening here. But I love what it says right at the top of the back, is it says, diets are dumb, you aren't. So this isn't a diet book in the sense of it's not all these fad diets. This is learning your diet, right?
Yes. It's learning your diet, and it's a really fun way to break down the science of metabolism so that you are no longer feeling like you're at the mercy of someone else's rules. Like, can I have this? Is this good for me? Is this bad for me? It's really putting you in the driver's seat so that you get to make the decisions. It's very forgiving. I just think that we've got to remove all of the ethics around dieting. I'll hear people say, like, I had a cheat day.
I can still have a glass of wine?
You can still have a glass of wine and chocolate if you want. But it's, like I hear people say things like, oh, it's a cheat meal. I'm like, we shouldn't be shaming people for eating a cupcake. Like, a cheater is someone who's broken their marriage vows, not like had something delicious to eat. You just figure out how to make that work for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, Chalene, are you ready for the lightning round?
I hope so.
With the special 131 method lightning round, here we go. Quick health tip habit for more energy. One habit.
Start your day every single day with water before you have your coffee. Just try to drink 16 to 25 ounces. I know it sounds like a lot, but that will get your digestion started and you will feel so much better.
How much water should you drink a day as a target?
Yeah, I just like you to think 3 water bottles, and you probably have a bunch of them laying around your house. Just fill up 3 the night before. 75 ounces is a good range.
How much sleep is needed for peak performance?
Generally speaking, a minimum of 6.5. Most people pretty productive around 7, 8.5, some people 9. But what's more important than the hours is the quality of sleep. Like, study after study has found that people sleep better when the room is cold and you've got to like kind of bundle up and the room is completely dark.
One documentary about this kind of stuff that every influencer watching should watch.
Magic Pill.
Magic Pill,
Magic
Netflix?
Pill. So good, yes, Netflix.
Gotta check that one
good.
out. If you're gonna eat some junk food, what's a great compromise?
Dark chocolate.
Where and when did you eat fast food last? And what did you eat?
I don't know, but I can't remember the last time. But I will say this, when I was pregnant with my son, I lived on Carl's Jr. French toast sticks. Like I wanted them for breakfast, I wanted them for lunch. That's all I wanted was Carl's Jr. French toast sticks.
Yes. Quick tip for looking good on camera.
I think good lighting is key, and if you can't afford like a lighting kit, then get in front of a window, because lighting matters.
Lighting matters. One quick tip for getting more done on my projects this week.
Eliminate distractions. Multitasking is not a more productive way to work. Whenever you're multitasking, your brain has to start and stop. You'll produce less quality, and it's hard on your brain, it's stressful, and you'll never get as much done as if you just focus on getting one thing done.
I love that. Kill distractions, feed your focus. Lightning round. All right, Chalene, so the book is out. I highly recommend this. Again, I've been transformed personally as an entrepreneur from Chalene's tips, and I'm so pumped for really actually learning how to boost my energy more and being able to fast through my next event and next intense project. So check that out. We'll link this up in the YouTube description. Chalene, you're doing a lot of cool stuff online, not just helping people with their fitness and their health, but also social media. So where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm probably the most accessible, and it's Chalene Johnson on Instagram.
Awesome. And question of the day, influencers. What is your favorite kind of thing to treat yourself to, or your favorite junk food? Let us know in the comment section below. And Chalene, can you just give some final encouragement for those watching? Again, sometimes this can be an overwhelming thing. I'm already overwhelmed with other stuff that's going on in my life. Entrepreneurship is tough. Being a content creator comes with challenges. This stuff really isn't easy. There's a lot of hype on social media, but you know it takes real work, and there's real struggles, there's real challenges, there's real stress that's associated. Can you just encourage our community on the journey that they are on, building their businesses and their lives?
I just think it's really important that you not think about your health as something that's a selfish pursuit. It will have a trickle-down effect into the way that you show up for your family, for the people that you serve, for yourself. And so rather than thinking of it as this giant, overwhelming process, just be 1% better every week, just 1%. And imagine the type of progress that you'll make in a very short amount of time. And that always creates a snowball effect. So just pick one thing, don't pick a million things, just pick one thing and say, you know, today I'm gonna drink more water, or this week I'm gonna try to get another 20 minutes of sleep, so that it's not overwhelming, because bite-sized goals are much more attainable, and they make us feel good.
I love that. Well, Chalene, thanks so much for coming on the show. Influencers, subscribe if you're not subscribed for more content that's gonna help you build your influence, your business, and your life. And we'll see you in the next video.